Everyone. Hello. Hi, Facebook and YouTube. I'm not on Instagram doing this because, like, I don't know. I don't think like this is probably like an Instagram like kind of thing, I guess. Or maybe I should be on Instagram. Maybe I should cut it off and go on all three about this. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Okay. All right. Okay. So I've got so many questions, and people wanted me to talk about the military parade versus the No King protest. Okay, so let me get into this, everyone. I think I'm going to switch gears here over on these iPads because I have let me see if I can get Instagram over on this pad. I got YouTube over here. No, YouTube here, Facebook here. Let's see if I can get Instagram live on here. This is crazy. People wanted me to talk about this. Let me just clear this negative because I gotta talk about this in Snap Talk live form because this is serious. Like I mean, hey, right? So I'm going to talk about it really quick. Let me just get these all my devices set up. And I'll give you my take on it. I can't get on this here. Oh, okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to get on my iPad over here on Instagram and everything. I'm on a three-way swivel. Thank you, Jason. Subscribe. Okay, so a lot of people sent me messages about the parade yesterday. And they said, Tina, can you get back into the Snap Talk grip of it? Because we need to hear your opinion about this, because what we saw and what we thought, and we were just wondering what your opinion was. Okay, I'm going to get into my opinion. I'm going to really quickly, just give me a minute, because I have to get over to Instagram on here, and then I'm just going to do a little switching around. There you go. And there you go. Okay, so hold on one second. I just got to get live on this stuff here, and then we'll get into this, because this is serious. I think I'm going to tell you my opinion about it, everybody, and I'm going to be very honest and very kind. How about that? Because I'm going to be brutally honest and brutally kind, okay? Because I think that we have to be like that. So let me just find out where this is at, and because I've got so many messages that I can't even believe this. I mean, I'm like, what? Everybody wants to know. So everybody does want to know. All right. Everybody wants to know. So anyhow, so listen to this, everyone. I do Snap Talk Live. I've been doing Snap Talk Live ever since 2013. That's when I started Snap Talk Live. Okay. So I've been talking about a variety of topics. I know politics very well. I covered it for so many years. I love politics. But I just wanted to talk about this, just so you know that I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass, or that I don't know what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, I have been covering it for so long. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what happened yesterday. And it was Trump's birthday. It was It was Trump's birthday. It was Flag Day. It was a lot of different things, okay? And I'm grabbing devices here, everyone. Sorry, I got to get everybody on, because, hey, y'all wanted me to talk about this, so now I got to get on. And I'll listen, everybody. Just have an open mind about what I'm saying before you just shut me off and get off of here. And tonight I will be doing Ajmer. But please just hear me out before you shut me off, okay? It's nothing like that. You don't need to shut me down and do all that shit. You don't need to do that. Okay. So, let me get on here. And I wanted to say that I think that our military looked so beautiful. Our military looked so beautiful. They looked so nice. We're not high scratchy. Listen, because you know what, everybody? Our military is not supposed to look like Kim Jong-un's military. Our military looked exactly like how they were supposed to look. Very nice, very demure. We were not wild and right, and walking like that and stuff that we are not, right? Our America and our soldiers are not like that, okay? So our soldiers did a beautiful job at that parade. They were how I was praying to God that they would be. Wonderful. They did good. They were not this Kim Jong-un and Russia, this craziness, right? Thank you, Rando. Asswipe. Okay. So they weren't like that, and I think that was the beauty of that. But I think Trump looked very disappointed. I think he looked disappointed in a certain way because it appeared. Now listen, you know how camera angles can do a lot. I wasn't there. So I don't know how many people were there. You can only go by camera angles. If you go by camera angles and what everybody's angle was, it didn't look like, it looked like there was more protesters at the No Kings by far than there was at the parade. So at this point, Trump's got to kind of wonder now what's happening. Yes, yeah, exactly, Richard. So let's just give it a benefit of doubt. I thought it was beautiful. Listen, calm down, MAGA hats. Okay, calm down. I thought it was so beautiful. I really did. I thought it was nice. I thought the only thing tacky about it was those sponsors of Coin Shift or whatever. I think that was tacky, okay? I thought that it was Flag Day also. And I thought that a restaurant, if I had owned a restaurant in that area, I would have rolled out the red carpet for our soldiers. I would have made them sandwiches. I would have made them food. Instead of them eating MREs for Flag Day and a parade, right? Our soldiers were awesome, everybody. Don't play like that. They did a wonderful job. If I was a restaurant in that area, and I'm kind of disappointed in those restaurants in DC because, I mean, it's a shame. That's our soldiers, and they had to eat MREs on Flag Day, which is their day. I would have had my restaurant make stuff for every soldier. Even if we ran out of food, I would have figured out how to get more to have our soldiers have something good to eat, right? Honestly, I really would have. I would have made sure that I had some good food for them to eat for Flag Day, for the parade, because they deserved it. They were wonderful. Our soldiers, hands down, are wonderful. No, we are not Kim Jong-un's soldiers where they're so in lock, and we're not that type of people. This is America, everybody. We're not, our soldiers, no, we're not geared, they're not geared like that. We don't want that, right? So that was the beautiful thing about all of this. Okay, hi, and if everybody's on, we're doing the Q&A because everybody wanted me to talk about the military parade versus the No Kings protest, and everybody wanted me to do it in Snap Talk Live format. So that's what we're doing, everybody. So, and then later on, I will be doing Ashmere, but I thought that there across the country. Now, I'm not into protesting, everyone. I didn't go to no protest. I mean, whatever your fancy is, you just do it, right? But I'm not into all that. But I really must say, whoever laid that event out and had to call out for everybody to come to the city near you to be a part of that, I think they did a heck of a job lining that up, because guess what? Those numbers, even in small towns, red towns, blue states, red states, they rolled it out. The people came in thousands upon thousands upon thousands. And so I think it was better organized than what was going on in DC. But just like I said, hey, I was not nowhere near no kind of protest, nor was I at the military parade. As a matter of fact, if the Jeep wasn't overheating so much, I would have loved to went to the military parade and saw our troops, as a matter of fact, because I love our soldiers. If it wasn't for our soldiers, listen, America would not be safe. I mean, we got to give all the kudos to our soldiers, right? So anyhow, I don't know why Trump was sitting there looking like sad. I know when the cameras were looking like there was nobody. So if he's sitting there, right, you're looking across, it looks like there's nobody over there sitting. I don't know if that was a VIP sitting area. I really don't actually know what was going on, but across from there, it didn't look like there was hardly nobody there. Exactly. I think differently, right, Richard? Absolutely. And I think differently, and I don't roll in those type of things, right? And so I would have definitely been I should have asked my one friend. She would have went with me. I wasn't planning on it. But anyhow, so I would have went definitely to the military parade. And just like I said, I'm an independent. I'm not Democrat nor Republican. So I respect the fact that our troops went and they were absolutely amazing. And Trump shouldn't have looked depressed because our troops did a phenomenal job. Whether you call them soldiers, war fighters, whatever you call them, our soldiers done a phenomenal job, and it was awesome, right? And so, I think the world, yes, people are going to say, "Oh my goodness, I thought it should have been better organized," and okay, here and there, it should have been, right? But guess what? It is what it is. And our soldiers are not to blame if the big Teletran was not working properly. If, right? They're not to blame for that. They came for the birthday. They were summoned for the military parade, for the birthday parade. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. But I really think that Trump shouldn't have done that. I think it shouldn't have happened like that without it being well organized and well thought out, well planned out. Because there's some aspects of it that look so cheesy and so beyond sad, it made our country kind of look terrible. And I will be honest about that. That's now this is the negative part that I'm going to talk about, everyone. And I don't think I can't. I'm not even going to hold back. I'm not even fucking going to hold back. The negative part was that this is freaking Flag Day yesterday. And our military was there for a parade for our president. And they're eating MREs, which a restaurant, hey, the White House kitchen, okay? If I was president, I would have had that White House kitchen make our troops whatever food. I would have rolled out a nice dinner for all of our soldiers. No matter if it took days, weeks to prep, plan, get lined up, I would have had them have a nice dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The sponsors coming up on it, and that was so beyond tacky. It was so beyond tacky. I just don't even know. I just wish that if it was done like it was, it should not have been done, because it something wasn't, whoever laid it out wasn't laid out right. I'm being honest. I'm just my honest opinion. And you can't get mad at whoever these people are that organize the No Kings. They organized a hell of they did a hell of a job. They've got even Trump states, the red states. So Trump's got to get back to the board and rework this and figure out what's going on, because they're slipping now. They're slipping at the White House now. They're slipping. Because when an organizer for No Kings and can protest and get even the red states to and all those people to protest, thousands upon thousands upon thousands, and you see our military having, I don't even know, not even, probably not even 10,000 to 20,000 people. Didn't look like there was many people there. Now, just like I said, there was a lot of things going on. Absolutely. There was Flag Day, right? There's a lot of things going on. But I feel like it could have been well organized and much better. And you know, it's not fair to our troops, because, you know, other countries are going to look at that and laugh at us like, oh, look at their soldiers, you know. They weren't like this. I just think our soldiers shouldn't have been in the middle of this. Have a parade with maybe, you know, college bands or something, but keep our military out of it, because our military is not that like this kind of craziness like all those other ones. Yes, Richard, right. So, you know, kudos to our military. Just like I said, it wasn't their fault. They did a phenomenal job. They did a beautiful job. And, you know, you can't take that away from them, because they did what they came to do. And they rolled it out exactly how they were supposed to. And you can't blame them. They did a wonderful job. And, you know, I pray to God that, you know, Trump thanked them and greatly appreciated them for coming. Well, our country in the past was considered the greatest, yes. And so, you know, we're at the grips right now of something serious happening, something so serious. Because we have now Iran, Israel versus Iran. We have that, and they, you know, I think I saw somewhere where, you know, Israel even wanted our troops, some of our troops, to come over, which, no, we shouldn't. That's not fair to our troops. We can't be getting in the middle of this stuff, putting our troops in the middle of this stuff. It's not fair. It's not right. But you know, when you have people on, when you're a president and you have people on your birthday, sorry, my eyes are blurry. When you have people on your birthday protesting, and I mean, even in the states where you won, and in groves to 50,000 to 20,000 to damn near 100,000, and your parade and your birthday parade was not there like that, there's a problem. Because don't you think everybody wants to go and see the president, whomever that may be? You have to sit down and rework it, rework the plan. Because just like I said, I remember having this boss, and I won't say his name, but he was a wonderful boss. And he was the president of his company. And he was firm, but he had this beautiful sweet packet line, right? To where he was firm, but he had this line of understanding everyone and every person that worked for his company. It didn't matter if you were white or black. It didn't matter if you were Indian, Mexican, Chinese, whatever. He had this straight line, but he had this bend of kindness. And without that bend, you have nothing. That bend is so important, everyone. That bend is so important. And if you don't have it, this is what happens. You know what? This is what happens. It's real serious, everybody. It's really serious. I'm already, you have to, yeah, it's really, hold on a minute, everybody. It's real serious. So we got to have like something, you know what I mean? This is life. This is our happiness here. And it's just like, you know, we gotta figure it out. But you can't, it can't be like this. We all gotta get along with everyone, right? And so we gotta stay focused on it, everybody. This is serious stuff, serious times we're living in. And there's no bend anymore with this situation here in our country. There's no sugar pack. And this is why yesterday, the No Kings rolled it out. And he rolled it out hard, and he rolled it out strong. And he got so much numbers and everywhere that you can ever imagine across this country, tiny little farm towns to tiny little areas to the larger cities. It's serious. I mean, the administration, everybody's got to sit down and take a look at what's going on and what went wrong versus what went right. And what went right was what? And what went wrong was what, right? Because the thing is, this is our country, and when we start running it like a government, or we are at losing end, everybody. We are at like the guts of something serious. Yeah, we do, Richard. We need peace, and we do. We have to have peace because we can't just keep going on. We got to have some type of peace happening. Hi, Ruthie. How are you doing, honey? Hold on a minute. Hi, Ruthie. How are you doing, honey? Are you feeling better now? Yeah, we have to have the gentleness, and we have to have that touch. And without that touch, we lose touch with everybody that we're trying to build a bond with, right? Yeah, it's getting scary out there, everyone. And it's really, you know, we've got to try to find the happiness, right? And so, you know, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we got to pick ourselves up and figure out what's going on. You know, we can't keep living in haste. We can't keep, but so a lot of people ask me questions, and the one question that I got was, a lot of people said that, what do I think that, who is going to run for president next? Who knows? I'm sure by the time it comes for people to run for presidency, I guarantee you there'll be so many people running. It's not even funny. Good people, bad people, you know, just a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, everybody, is going to unfold at that time. And you got to weed through who is truthful and who is not. Who is just for our country, who is not. Because there's going to be a lot of people running now. Who knows? You know? I mean, regular folk, maybe people got to start lining, getting ready to run. Because, you know, everybody, it just doesn't matter if somebody has a deep pocket or not. Right? We need, you know, maybe a regular person, a regular citizen run. Right? Who's banging the coffee? You know? So and so a lot of people ask me that. And I don't know, I heard Stephen A is going to run, might. Who's going to vote for him? Because he has a big mouth. He has a big mouth. And like, I don't even know what, you know what I mean? What situation is going to happen with that? You know? I wouldn't vote for him. I wouldn't vote for him at all. But we just got to stand up. But a lot of people had all these questions. And the next question was, do we think that, hold on a second, everybody. And the next question was, do we think that, that Trump's going to have another parade or something like that, just to kind of make up for what was wrong with this last one? And I would hope not. I would hope not. I would honestly hope not. Because you know what I mean, we just don't deserve that. Our country can't go through no more of this dumb shit. You got to go back to the drawing board, everybody. Kindness is the message. Kindness is the movement. People were really worried, everyone, about what our soldiers were going to look like yesterday. They really were. I've had so many people say they were beyond nervous to find out were they going to look like Kim Jong-un and Russia's soldiers. And I'm thinking, our soldiers are not like that. They're not aligned to do that. Like, they're not used to all this rigid stuff. But it takes me back to a video that maybe how Trump wanted him to look. Do you know the Kendrick Lamar video? They're Not Like Us. Remember at the Super Bowl where those dancers were in lockstep? They were in lockstep. But you know, that video, I guess you're not allowed, I guess it's been taken down. You're not allowed to watch it anymore. But other countries are not like us. And we got to understand that. And we got to respect the fact that our soldiers are not like other people's soldiers. Our soldiers aren't geared like that. And nowadays, this is a different type of soldiers now, everybody. We got to understand this. We've got a whole, this is from back in the day soldiers to now soldiers. It's completely different. This is a whole different ball game here. This is different. Yes, thank you. But so yeah, a lot of people said, Tina, what do you think about it? And I just it just looked, you know, just like I said. Hold on a minute, everybody. Hold on a second. Hold on, everyone. Hold on, everybody. It, you know, just like I said, so a lot of parts of it did look really bad. It really did. A lot of parts looked real bad that it just made me sad to look at it and see that that was happening in our country and to our, because now, you know, you have all these other countries laughing and you know, and feeling and acting like we're weak because our soldiers didn't come out all like this, right? And it kind of, you know, in other countries, you know, they're so rigid to their people and so hateful to their people, even their soldiers, that if their soldiers do not step like that, they get killed, everybody. Them kind of soldiers, for Putin, for what, Kim Jong-un, they gotta be like that. They were trained ever since they were little kids to be like that. That just doesn't happen overnight. Unless you're a dancer, then dancers are trained to do that, you know? But our soldiers aren't designed like that. And that's why, and a lot of people said, Tina, I was worried that they were going to come out in this military, even style garb. I mean, people were like, I was praying they wouldn't come out in some type of different type of uniforms and stuff like that. I mean, people were really concerned, everyone. I must say, I was like, this would be a sad moment. So let's get back to the No Kings protest. Let's get to that, everybody. Let's get to that, because that was something serious. And that sent a message. That sent a direct message that a lot of people in America, it doesn't matter if they were white, black, Hispanic, Mexican, it sent a message. It sent a message to the White House. And so I'm sure Trump got that message. I'm sure he did. So when you're a president and you're sitting there and it's your birthday and you get what, 20,000 people that show up? Didn't look like many people showed up. But yet your whole country showed up for No Kings. You gotta reevaluate. You gotta reevaluate that hard line and a touch of that sugar, because that hard line, that straight hard line running stuff, it'll run you right into the ground. It'll run you right into the ground. And it did yesterday. That hard line, it showed where you can't have that hard line. It showed where, remember I was telling you about that boss that I had, that he was the president of his company, but he had this line, but he also had that sugar pack that where if you went into his office to talk to him, he left you talk and then he talked after and gave his opinion. Here, author, and hold on a second, everybody. Hold on, everyone. That's my room. Okay, and he gave that opinion of what he thought once he you know, once you got done talking. That was my roommate, everybody, being kind of a jerk. But that was a leader, and he could have been a hell of a president, honestly, when I think about it. because he had that strength that he had to run his company, to run his business, and have all these melting pot of people working for him, right? I mean, he had a melting pot of all of us working for him. Didn't matter what color we are. He had black people in the office, Mexicans. It wasn't just white people in the office working. It was a melting pot of everything throughout his whole company. And just like I said, he ran his company, but also he had that side, that sugar pack side, to where he understood every person individually, and every race so elegantly that he did that. And so when you went into his office, he didn't matter. He didn't look at you and go, oh, well, you're white, I'm going to treat you better because you're like me. No. When you went into his office, it didn't matter if you were white, black, you were Hispanic, you were gay, you were straight. He didn't care. He gave everybody an opportunity to sit down and hear their voices. And when you sat down, he shook your hand. When you stood up, he shook your hand. And when you sat down to talk to him, guess what? He was calm, cool, collected, didn't raise his voice, didn't talk crazy. He left you speak, and then he spoke and gave his opinion about a situation. Now that's a president who runs things, right? And runs a business and runs a country, and right? Because a leader can be strong, but you have to have that damn sugar pack, no matter if you want to or not. You have to have that ability to have blinders off your damn eyes and not worry about what the fuck color people are, what gender they're doing. You have to have the blinder off your eyes when you become a president of anything, a president of your company, because you got so many variables of employees with different colors, different religions, different sexualities, and you cannot treat everyone, and you're treating everyone the same because they're your employee and you're the president and you hold yourself high, right? And he was so eloquently about this and balancing that line of not stepping over and going, well, I'm going to treat you better. He heard every single one of us out equally. It didn't matter. It did not matter who it was. And so right now we're seeing where the sugar pack, there is none right now. There's no sugar pack. And this is why the No Kings protests were formed. We have no sugar pack. We have to back a line up, and we have to get some sugar back in to make this whole country work better, right? Because without that, how are you going to run anything, everybody? How are you going to have a situation where you're the leader, but yet you're only a leader for some, but not all? And you have the blinders over, but you're the leader, but your blinders are over to everyone else because you may not agree with. Do you think my boss, he was a white man? Do you think that he agreed with, gay people and how, and how, flamboyant they acted when they came to work or something? But guess what? He treated everyone with respect. And he didn't care who they were. He did not care what color they were. He shook everybody's hand. He didn't give a damn. He spoke to everyone with the utmost respect. He didn't care how dark your skin was because you were his employee and he respected you for coming to his company and working for it, right? That's a leader. That's a leader, right? He spoke to everybody with compassion, kindness, with just. But yet, did he have a firm edge to him? Absolutely he did. He did have a firm edge to him. But that touch of sugar that he had for everyone, and that touch of sugar that my old boss, past tense, had for everyone, right, was something that built his company because he didn't give a damn who you were, what you look like, or how you acted. Because guess what? He realized that every one of his employees were respected, need to be respected. They come to work every day. He didn't care. No one was having problems because guess what? We knew that that president of that company was such a good, amicable man that any one of us could come to him. And it didn't matter if you're an Indian wearing something around your head. It didn't matter if you were a Mexican that hardly spoke English. It didn't matter to him. It didn't matter that you had dark skin and woolly hair. He treated everyone with respect. He handled every situation with compassion, with kindness, but with a firm edge. Because you need that firm edge, but also, just like him, he had that sugar pack. For all, not some. And they don't make them like that anymore. They don't. Because now people want to be on one side versus another, and everybody wants to, be talking about everybody and how they don't like this one or that one. Hi, Rambo, honey. And that's not how we build this country. And as a matter of fact, that's not how we build our country. That's not even how you build a business. And he was so brilliant in that way that I'm telling you, the man could have been president. He had that brilliant line of understanding everyone. And that firm edge to run that company and be that president, but understand everybody of every race that worked for him. And he had every race, every every religion, right? And he didn't care. He didn't care if someone would come in there and they were gay or straight. He had a firm respect because guess what? After all, he was the president and that was his company. And he knew that being a president of a company, that hard edge will only get you so far and then it drops. Right? But when you have that touch of sugar where you shake everybody's hand and you're not better than nobody, but you will shake everybody's hand and listen to everybody's story that walks into your office without judging someone because of who they're with or how they're acting or how they look or what their hair looks like. That's so irrelevant and so childish and so immature. It's like not even funny, right? When people do that, that is like the scope of beyond immaturity. But when you can hold your head high as a president of a company, of a world, of a country, then you can have the respect of every freaking person that walks into your door, into your office to talk to you, or every single person of every single color, of every single nationality, of every single religion. Because after all, we got more people in here in our country than just Christians. We have everything. As a matter of fact, in my boss's company, we had atheists in there. Seriously. He had everything working in his company. And that man stood a firm grip, a firm line of everybody working together in kindness, getting the job done, no matter. And listen, whatever your problem is, and you don't like someone of a different race, this is a workplace. You leave that at the door in your car. And when you get out of your car and you're walking into my building, We're all in lockstep, right? Whatever you don't like about someone's race, religion, or who they are dating, that is your problem. You leave that at the door of your car before you get out the car. And then when you get out the car and you come into this building, we all work together as one. Not as, oh, I'm that color, I'm better than that. That man was a white man. No, he didn't want to hear all that. But I'm white and or I'm this color and I'm not. No, no. I don't want to hear that shit. When you get out of your car, you make sure that you leave whatever racist tensions that you have about other people at your car. When you walk into this building, we work together as one. We're kind to each other as one. No one is better than anybody. We work in lockstep. And that is how it was. It doesn't matter if you don't like that person, because guess what? They're gay. He probably didn't like gay people, but guess what? When you got out of that car and you walked into that office, everyone was the same. Everybody was the same. When you got out of that car and you didn't like somebody that was Muslim, gay, white, black, you left it at your car. That's a leader, everybody. I'm telling you, that's a leader. When you can do it like that, that's a leader. All this other bullshit, and no, that's bullshit stuff. Because after all, we don't want to hear that shit, right? I don't care if you're gay. I don't give a damn if you're straight. I don't care if you're Mexican. I don't give a damn. Everybody gets treated equal when you walk in this door. Nobody's different. Nobody's better. There was nothing like that. And now we're seeing where, guess what? These lines are so different. Now we're seeing right now in our country where there's blurred lines of that. And it's not right. And a true leader leads in respect, but strength. And that's two different things, everybody, because see, this is how my boss was. He was very respectful, but he also led in strength. And leading in respect does not mean you're weak. That means you're actually goddamn strong, because that builds a strong team to work with, right? Because when you're building a team of strength, you need sugar to do it. Because after all, vinegar only gets you so far. So when you walked in there, it didn't matter. And if you're a racist, you better let that shit at the door. Because nobody was playing with that. Nobody didn't want to hear that. Once you walked out the door, that's your life, right? But once you walked in that door, around everybody that's a melting pot, that's all of our lives. This is how the country is, right? If we want to run it like a corporation, let's run it right. Let's run it right. Instead of half-assed. Because if you're going to run a corporation, you're going to run it like my boss did. Everybody's equal. It doesn't matter. We all work in lockstep together, right? Doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Because after all, that's your life, not the boss's, not the president's. That's your life, how you live it, right? That's whoever you want to date that's your problem, right? So if you're going to run a country like a business, welcome to Allville instead of Someville. Welcome to Allville, because a company, you have all working for you. All. It doesn't matter. My boss had dark skinned people working for him. Shook their hand, hugged them, appreciated every single person. He had Mexicans, Jewish people, Irish, atheist, everything. Everybody got treated with respect. And he was the president. He was tough, but he had a firm line of that sugar that you need. And nothing. Like, I don't understand how we are so fucked up. Because if you align it like that, we shouldn't be fucked up. If you align it just like how my boss done it, there should be no reason why we are so fucked up. There should be no reason why no one is out protesting no kings. If you line it like that, like my boss did, right? When you get out your car, you leave your racist stuff at the door. When you get out your car, it doesn't matter when you walk in this door who your coworker is. We all have respect for one another. And no, he just didn't want white people around him when he was white. He had everybody around him, as a matter of fact. Everybody. So if my boss at that time was president now, there wouldn't be no King's protest ever going on in this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? There would never be that. He would never tolerate that. Because how he ran his company was so insanely amazing. Because guess what? He didn't give a shit who was racist and who was not. You leave it at the door. You let it go. You leave it at the door. He didn't want to hear all that blah, 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 blah. He wasn't like that. No, straightforward, to the point. But that sugar pack was amazing, because sugar people love that you can sit down with your boss, the president, the CEO of the company or whatever, and have a conversation with him, and they listen to you earnestly without judging you. Oh no, he wouldn't talk. There wouldn't be none of that, because guess what? He would have nipped that at the bud a long time ago, because guess what? Everyone was welcome at his company. So why can't we be like this now in this United States of America that, as a matter of fact, is a melting pot? We are a melting pot. 100%, and we always will be. You can take away people, you can take away browns, you can take away blacks, you can take away whoever you want to take away. But in reality, this is a melting pot. And the respect right now that we're giving one another could never be tolerated at my boss's job. Absolutely not. He was an upstanding leader for all, not some. He would not even tolerate that bullshit of some people and not all. See what I'm saying? So this right here should be an indication of what Trump needs to turn around. And I'm not saying anything bad about President Trump. I'm saying that he needs to take a page from my boss And there would never be no kings needed protest ever in our country. Because guess what? My boss was for all, not some. My boss would never tall, and he was a white man, tall white man. Stern. You can be stern. And you can be confident. A twinge of arrogance. But guess what? In that line of all of that man was, he had that sugar pack for all of us. Not some. And if he was even racist, hell, none of us would have knew, because he treated every single one of us with gosh damn respect. He didn't give a damn if you were gay. He didn't give a damn if you were straight. He treated everybody with respect, because after all, that was his company and he was the president of it. So when you see, and on his birthday, we didn't walk and march for him. Oh, hell to the no. As a matter of fact, on his birthday, he celebrated us and thanked us for being his employee. Now that's a leader. That's a leader. That is a true leader. And that's no sign of weakness that man ever felled her into. Because guess what? He treated everybody with respect, so there's no need. He didn't give a damn what other people thought about how kind he was to all of us employees and what races worked for him. He could give a damn what people thought. But here in America, we care what other people think. We care what other countries think about us and who we like and who we don't like. And that's sad, everybody. That's sad, because after all, this is America. And just like my boss, it was all of our company, not just some. He respected us that much. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. He didn't care what texture our hair was. He didn't care what color our skin was. He didn't give a damn what we spoke, language we spoke. He didn't care. That's a leader. That's a true goddamn leader. Not somebody that wants praise every goddamn day. And this is why this has happened yesterday. But true leaders, they don't need that. Because when you get everybody in this situation, nothing like this would ever happen in this lifetime. As a matter of fact, when, after work, there was people that knew who were racist and were not. And after working with my boss and realizing that you had to leave your shit in the car before you stepped out the gosh damn door and onto his property, suddenly people realize when you have to work side by side with people that you think that you don't like, beside a black person with dark skin, and you're racist, and you have to work beside somebody that's going to treat you with respect, and you have to treat them with respect. You have a newfound respect walking out the goddamn door, don't you? Because then you hear how people treat you. You talk to people that you normally don't talk to. And before you know it, you saw the racist people walking out the door with the dark-skinned black people having conversations, because everybody has to get along with everybody at the workplace, right? So how hard is it in your personal life? How hard is it? No, we're too busy beating up each other, trying to hurt everybody, and acting like we're better than everybody else. It's sad. It really is, everyone. It really is sad when we're sitting back and we're in a country where we don't got that sugar pack yet. We don't have that yet. We don't have it. We don't have it yet. And I'm not saying that maybe we will not never have it. We don't have it yet. But when you treat people with dignity and respect, you will get that back 100%, even more. When you treat people like my boss did and didn't give a damn if you were gay because he wasn't in your bed. He didn't care about all that dumb shit. He wasn't going home with you. That's your problem, not his. But when you come to work, we all have respect for one another. He wasn't interested in getting into other people's business. He wasn't interested in all the okey doke and all the back talking and all the, well, what's this person and what's that person not? Are they gay? Are they straight? You know how childish that is? You know how immature that is? To be a leader, it doesn't mean that you have to have this hard line for everybody to listen to you. It means that you have to have that sugar packet for people to understand and respect you. Because guess what? When you don't have that sugar pack and you think that that hard line is going to work all the time, we see where it doesn't. And then your people start disrespecting you, not caring. Your country's starting to fall apart. Shit's happening and protesting, and it's not how it should be. It's not how it should be. We have no respect now for one another. And if we're going to run this country, just like I said, like a business, then we better act like one. Well, because you know what? Buckle up. And let's all work together. When you walk outside your door, be that person that when you're walking outside the door to go into my boss's company, you better have those blinders right off your eyes, because he doesn't tolerate that. He doesn't tolerate this. And some is not even in the equation. It's all and not some. When you sit, he shakes everybody's hand and has respect for everybody. Doesn't matter. And as a matter of fact, none of us employees walk behind him. It didn't matter if we were white or black. We walked beside him. That's respect. That's gaining respect for everybody, right? And it just, so when people ask me about this parade, our military parade versus the No Kings protest, our military did a phenomenal job. They're incredible. And that's how they were supposed to be. It's not their problem that other things happen, that they ain't got nothing to do with that. And the people that protested for No Kings, they want a leader who is going to be like my boss. That was like my boss. For all, not some. I mean, you got to look at that and you got to go, wow, if my boss of his company, right, sat and people were protesting, going, oh my gosh, this man's horrible. Like, this man, we don't want him to act like this. He wouldn't have any employees. Because after all, he had the melting pot. He wouldn't have one employee. So if you're going to run this country like a business, take a page from my old boss. because that is truly a leader, not a follower, not somebody that wants to be a dictator, not somebody that loves on things that aren't right for our country. That man was a strong leader. But that sugar pack was priceless because it drew people together that normally wouldn't come together. But he didn't tolerate bullshit from nobody. And that was a straight line. And the respect that he had was priceless for everybody. It didn't matter what this was. It didn't matter. He had assistants that were black. He had accountants that were black. He didn't care what color. Because he ran that company, right? So now, I pray that Trump looks at that yesterday and realizes that if you're going to run a country like a business, buckle up. Because it's for all, not some. Buckle up. Straighten up. Because guess what? Be like my boss. He was rigid, he was straight. But he didn't give a damn who you are. He showed everybody respect. And for that, when you show people respect, it doesn't matter. No one will ever do that again. Nobody will ever do that again when you show respect like my boss did for all. They don't need to protest when you're a good human. They don't need to protest when you're for all and not some. They don't need to have people out trying to round people up. A true leader leads lockstep with their people, their flock, which is our country, which is all of us, right? That's a leader, a strong leader that gets things done and not just for some. A strong leader gets done. And he stands up for the people in his country and or whatever in his corporation, in his police stations, for all, not some. And what we saw yesterday was people saying we need that Tina's old boss type of leader. A man with courage, bravery, respect. Not a man who was sitting there watching, praying to God. This is our country. This is our country, after all. Our country. What was happening yesterday, everybody? And if my boss were here to this day and seen what happened yesterday, I think he would probably do backflips and cart flips, because I can imagine him saying, this country is not for all, like my company was. And Richard's saying sometimes we only want to listen to points of views that favor our own. So yes, I agree. Sometimes you have to take them. Richard said sometimes, you have to take the blinders off. But listen, let me tell you something about the blinders, everybody. And Richard, let me tell you, thank you for saying that. Richard said sometimes we only want to listen to points of view that favor our own. And speaking of favoring our own with our own points of view, do you know my ex-boss, my old boss, when we all had our own opinions about something, and we went to his office, right? He greeted us with respect. It didn't matter. He sat down and he left us have our own opinions about what we were talking about. And then he put his own spin on it about what he truly believes. But guess what? He never had blinders on. And he did not even care whether we were right and he was wrong. At least he would sit and listen to all of our opinions with an open mind and an ability to understand that even he is not perfect. And no, so when you're leading a country, a company, or any kind of branch, or anything that you are the leader of, there is no exception to the rule of having blinders on. Because when you have blinders on, you are for some, not all. When you have blinders off, like my old boss did, you were sitting there and listening to all, not some. So no, you have to have blinders off when you're running departments with a lot of employees. You have to have blinders off when you're up that high in a position, because you've got every kind of race, every kind of face, and every kind of opinion. And so no, the blinders have to be off when you're president. The blinders have to be off when you are running a business and you are a head of a department. No, the blinders have to be off. Not half on, half off. No, they have to be completely off. You have to sit and listen with an open ear, not an open mouth. You have to calmly and effectively speak to whomever you're speaking to it with. That's a strong leader. That's a strong leader. That's a leader who gets things done. When you can effectively sit there and listen with an open ear to someone that doesn't look like you. That's an effective leader. When you can sit across from somebody that has way out views than you. Because listen, after all, my boss, he encountered everything. People with way out views. And I'm sure he was a Republican, everybody. But he sat and listened to people with way out views and didn't judge them. Now it's woke. But he didn't give a damn, because he realized that every single person that worked at his company was so unique. And that's how he handled all of us that went into his office and that worked for him. So unique, because he knew that each person was different and had different opinions. But now it seems like nobody can have an opinion different than someone else's, right? And this is not how America works. This isn't how the world works. This isn't how it's going to work, because it won't work. Because look what happened yesterday. So my boss, he knew how to handle us. He knew how to handle us. He knew how to talk to us. Even the kind of now, I guess, they would call them woke people. My boss didn't give a shit if you're woke, as long as you showed up to work, right? He didn't care, because that was your opinion, not his. Now keep in mind, everybody, my boss didn't give a shit if you were woke or had woke intentions or woke the mindset. He didn't care. That's your opinion, not his. Do you get what I'm saying? And now we want everybody to believe what certain people believe, or else we're woke, or we're joke, or this isn't. No. That's not how my boss operated. That's not how it is. because we're all not believing the same thing, and we're not never going to be the same. Do you get what I'm saying? That's a leader. When you can sit down and talk to people that you think are woke and have an open mind about it. An open mind and a closed mouth. That's what my boss had when he sat and talked to each and every one of us. And he sat and listened to each and every one of us. And he didn't call nobody woke. He didn't go to those guts. He was so strong and confident. He didn't even need to call anybody names. He was that strong and that confident and that much of a straight line leader with that sugar pack that, listen, he didn't give a damn about calling people names because that wasn't in him to do that. He didn't need to, because when you're a strong leader, you don't need to call people names, and especially in your own country. And in your own business, and in your own corporation, or in your own department. You don't need to call people names. Because guess what? He was not the tail. He was the head. And that sugar pack was everything. Because he gave it to us all. Showed us how to shake hands. As a matter of fact, I remember one time going into his office. I shook his hand. He taught me how to shake hands. I gave him a flimsy handshake. He goes, turn around here. Look me in the eye and shake my hand good. And I said, what do you mean? I don't want to hurt you. He goes, you're not going to hurt me. Shake my hand and look me in the eye. That man looked everybody in the eye. Gave him a firm handshake like you wouldn't even imagine. And had respect for everybody. Now go get her done, right? He shook gay people's hands. He had lesbians working for him, gay men. He had trans, he had woke, he had broke. But to him, everybody was equal when they walked into his office and his company. Because after all, he wasn't living their life. He didn't care. That's a true leader when you don't care. When you can stand firm and you can go, okay, I will listen to you. And I knew half the time he probably didn't agree with none of us, but he listened. And he never called anyone names. And a lot of people, we all had respect for him so much. I still have respect for that man this day. Because he was the firmest leader I've ever seen in my life. Because he teetered that line of being a president. But when you walked out of your vehicle, you were for all, not some. That's a leader. When you're a leader for all and not some. When you have blinders off your eyes. When you can look a person straight in the eye. Mean what you say and say what you mean. You're a leader for all, not some. There's nothing woke about it. There's something real about it. That's two different things, everybody. Woke and real are two different things. There's nothing woke about this. When you're a leader, there's nothing woke about it. Nobody's woke. You're the president. There's nothing woke about this. Stand firm, stand right, and stand just for all, not some. There is nothing woke about it. Nothing. My boss was a tough man. He didn't play all these bullshit games to get attention. He didn't give a shit about attention. He was a wealthy man. He didn't give a shit about attention. And he damn sure didn't care if somebody was woke or not. He damn sure didn't care if somebody was gay or not. He damn sure didn't care how dark you were. He looked you in the eye and shook your hand. You walked beside him, not behind him. That right there, everybody, and ending with this Snap Talk Live. And that right there, everybody. When you have your blinders off and you're the president of your company or you're the president of your country, you got to act like my boss. There's no exceptions. It's like when you walk out your door to go to work. Remember, my boss always said, when you walk out the door of your car, whatever is going on, whomever you are, whomever you don't like, that's it, right there. Because when you walk in here, we're all a team. We're all a team. It doesn't matter who we are, what we look like. We're all a team here. We're all a team. And we have it in all different departments. Remember that. Because if you're going to run a country like a corporation, it's for all, not some. If you're going to run it, run it. If you're going to run it, you run it like my boss did. A strong leader. Firm grip. Let me tell you. Firm grip that man had on everything. His company, how his thought pattern was. He was strong. No lie. But he had that compassion side that he didn't give a damn who you were. Remember this, everybody. Remember. So no, when you're running something, you have to have these blinders completely off to understand each person. To understand each person. So this doesn't happen like yesterday. Like yesterday. And you know, in closing with this, everybody, let me just tell you. My boss, the president, he, you know, just like I said, he was strong, firm, looked us in the eye when he spoke to all of us. He did not look away. He looked us directly in the eye. He got it done. He got things done. We got things done working for him. Because we knew that we were all in lockstep with one another. Because guess what? We had to have respect for one another in that office. Because he wasn't tolerating bullshit. That's a leader that don't tolerate bullshit. He was a leader who would never tolerate what happened yesterday. He was a leader that when it was his birthday, he bought us cake and everything else to go with it because he respected us as his employee. Remember that. He got us gifts. He got us stuff for a party. For his own birthday. That man was a leader. For all, not for some. Never ever, 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 ever was that man. For some, never. Remember that.